What is up guys, it's your boy Solheim here, back with another Classic WoW video for you, and this right here is going to be a very rare react video on the main channel. I've been trying to step down on the amount of reactions I'm doing over here, as I have a bunch of content that I'm making from the ground myself, and I just want to focus this channel on content that I'm making. That being said, I've started a second channel for reacts only, and some secondary content, so sometimes I might make videos on the second channel, but it's mainly reactions and clips from the streams. Speaking of which, I do stream on Kick every single evening, from 8 PM until midnight Central European time, and sometimes the streams do go way longer than that as well, so follow me on Kick for daily live streams. Alternatively, if you only want to see the reacts and the clips, follow the second channel, which will be linked down below, in the pinned comment, and also in the video description. So please consider dropping a follow, or a subscription I suppose, to the second channel over here on YouTube. It would really help me out, and that way you can watch even more Solheim content. Either way, let's get into the react portion of today's video. So, to bring you guys up to speed, the video we're looking at here is titled Season of Discovery versus Private Server. Private servers, multiple, who did Classic Plus better? And then we have the thumbnail being Classic Plus, Blizzard on the left side, Private on the right side. Who did it best? I mean, let's find out, shall we? Let me know what you think, by the way. Who did it best, Classic Plus so far? Season of Discovery versus things like Epoch, Turtle WoW, and we also have Bronzebeard now, where I guess they have renamed it to Warcraft Reborn. Either way, let me just make sure the volume is okay.
One thing we get asked a lot about the end of Season of Discovery is what'll happen to my characters? Well, we don't really consider Season of Discovery to have an end, and we have no plans whatsoever to shut down the servers. We want to make sure that everyone has access to their characters and the achievements they've made for years to come. Our team has some really amazing things planned, and we really can't wait for you to see what else we're working on. Until then, thank you so much for playing Season of Discovery with us.
Was that what he said, by the way, at the end of Season of Discovery? Like, was that the ending? Because I believe when he made the blue post as well, they said roughly the same, right? I personally feel like Season of Discovery was just a huge testing ground to throw things at the wall and see what sticks, and I really hope it was, because like, Season of Discovery to me was great, but there was definitely quite a few things that I would not like to see in Classic Plus, and I'm just gonna say it, right? Season of Discovery, calling that Classic Plus is kind of disingenuous to begin with, because I never think it was meant to be. It's a step towards it, sure, but we should never have runes in Classic Plus, absolutely not. And also, incursions, never. I don't even want to hear Blizzard ever talk about Nightmare incursions ever again. Like, they were so bad, dude. They were so bad. Nightmare incursions, bad. Rune system. The rune system was fun to begin with, but it just became too much at some point. And also, when it became too much, every class could do everything. You suddenly had everyone being good at single target, everyone being good at crowd control, everyone having AoE. I feel like one of the cool things about Classic is that certain classes are good at certain things. You bring a warrior and a rogue for kicks and crowd control, rogues for stuns, rogues are the CC masters. I feel like just too many classes got too many things at the end. Maybe I'm crazy here, and that's okay, but that's how I feel. So it was way too much to farm dungeons. Like in TWoW, you want to explore the world and explore all the classes. Yeah, like it became a instanced season at the end. You just did raids, you did dungeons, you even got gold from dungeons, you got materials from dungeons. All you would have to do is literally do dungeons. And with Nightmare incursions, they also made it so you leveled in an instance as well, because you went through a portal and ran laps and just gathered objects and leveled up that way. So the entire season just became a instanced content. That being said, I really enjoyed Season of Discovery for a while. I really did.
So, Season of Discovery is over. Blizzard's first real experiment with Classic came and went. And the big question now is simple. Did it deliver what players actually wanted? Or did private servers do Classic?
The one thing I really don't like, by the way, I'm sorry to be stopping so much at the start, but the one thing that I really wish they did is when they announced the closing of Season of Discovery, which was 6 months ago, by the way, or something like that. Like, it's been about 6 months, 5.5. You get the point, either way. I feel like they should have also, instead of going dark, maybe go dark for a month, maybe top 2 months, but then talk about what you're doing next. Start building hype. Because I think the reason why we have the situation we have right now, which is the current classic WoW state is bad, anniversary bad. I'm just saying, like, the player perception here is that Blizzard goes to work and does nothing. They're relaunching Anniversary, which, if you think about it, not that much development needed for Anniversary. TBC as well, they have the codes, so like not that much development needed. The player perception is that they're doing nothing. Meanwhile, all they had to do is go dark for a month or two, really go to work for a bit, and the thing is, they should have been working on whatever they are now working on for the past year. Alongside making Season of Discovery, they should have been working on whether it's the next season, Classic Plus, Retail Minus, whatever it is that they're working on, that they're cooking in the proverbial kitchen right now. They should have been cooking for a year. They should be ready to talk about it now. Like, you don't even have to give an announcement or a release date. Just talk about what you're doing. And they should have announced that at maximum 2 months after shutting down Season of Discovery. Either way, continue the video.
Plus better all along. When Season of Discovery launched, it felt electric. Azeroth was busy again in a way we hadn't seen since 2019. People were logging in just to explore and figure things out with everyone else.
Yeah.
No one had a perfect meta, no one had a checklist, and suddenly your class...
I'm just gonna say it, by the way, the first 2 weeks of Season of Discovery was so magical. It gave me a feeling that I haven't really had in any Blizzard product for a while.
Could do things you never thought it could. Mages healing, warlocks and rogues tanking. It was weird in the best possible way. The rune hunt made the world feel alive. You'd hear a rumor about a rune hidden somewhere, and 5 minutes later your guild...
Yeah, the warlocks looking for metamorphosis, by the way, that was the hunt of a lifetime. That was the absolute hunt of a lifetime. And me maining a warlock, I was part of the hunt as well. And being a part of the warlock class Discord back then, it was a roller coaster, but it was so fun.
Chat was organizing a little expedition to go find it. Phase 1 was fast, friendly, and shockingly ult-friendly. Leveling to 25 was a breeze.
Yeah.
The first raid was quick and puggable, and you didn't need a hardcore guild to keep up. People called it Season of Dads because it let normal players actually participate. It brought back that feeling from 2004 where the game felt like an adventure again.
Yeah.
If Blizzard had held that line, this would be a very different video. But as the phases rolled on, the cracks showed. The early joy of discovering slowly gave way to, wait, this is just old content again. Raids many of us had cleared a dozen times came back with a couple of tweaks. A new damage check here, a resist check there, but not the kind of fresh endgame people were hoping for. Players were asking for Classic Plus. New zones, new dungeons, new raids that fit the vanilla style. Instead, it felt like reheated leftovers. Now, about Phase 2. It wasn't the death of the season. I believe it continued in the same good spirit, just like Phase 1, for a lot of...
Yeah, Phase 2 was great. Like, I really enjoyed Phase 2. The one thing I did not like about Phase 2 was the fact that we had no Meridian as the raid. Because for me, I feel like we should have had Scarlet Enclave that we got in Phase 8. That should have been a Phase 2 raid. But also, they already said that the Phase 2 would be leveling content, right? So a level up raid. And level up raids were really not going to be any new content anyway. But like, being in no Meridian, I don't know, just didn't really feel the same. And also, many of the Phase 1 items were too good to the point where even going into Normal again, there were barely any upgrades for a while. They did change that by buffing certain items, but that problem just kept persisting as well, by the way. Because in Phase 3, the same thing happened. The Phase 1 and Phase 2 items were so strong that you just didn't feel like upgrading them in Phase 3. And the raids dropped so bad items that we ended up just vendoring things. And I had to do like, what is it called again? Item restorations to bring back items that I had previously vendored from week 1 and week 2 and I think week 3 as well. And maybe week 4. Because suddenly Blizzard buffed the ever-living hell out of them. So like the items in Phase 3 were so bad for a while and it just felt bad. Like Phase 3 was the death of Season of Discovery for me. It was just when it went so far downhill. But even then, I played all of Phase 3 from start to finish, but even then, it was when I started feeling bad about the game. Nightmare incursions, first of all, the raids not offering really good loot, so like raiding just felt like you wanted to raid, but at the same time, barely any upgrades, so it was a massive feels bad man moment until they buffed the items. But even then, having vendored a lot of items also felt bad, now that they were buffed.
It was still fun. If you had a guild, you kept rolling. Nomergan continued that 10-man cadence just like BFD, and guild groups could carry the momentum. Was the tuning rough on melee at times? Sure. Were pugs a little tougher to pull off? Yeah. But as long as your team showed up, you could...
To be fair, Blizzard never said Season of Discovery was Classic Plus. They did not, no. But they did say it was their nudge towards Classic Plus. I don't know when or where they said this, but there was in a developer interview or something where they announced Season of Discovery. This was like their nudge towards Classic Plus, which kind of shows you that it's their first step into Classic Plus. That being said, Blizzard has not even said they're working on something Classic Plus like either, so the only comparisons we have right now when it comes to Classic Plus is Season of Discovery versus private servers. We don't really have anything else from Blizzard. It's regular Classic or retail, or Mists of Pandaria. But yeah, like when it comes to Classic Plus, the only fair comparison we have for a Blizzard product, I think, is Season of Discovery. Because once again, the fact that they're being silent now and have been silent since closing Season of Discovery, we have no idea what they're cooking. Maybe the only thing they're cooking is a Turtle WoW lawsuit, and in that case, it feels bad man, but we have no idea. So the only things we have to go by is what they did in Season of Discovery.
Progress and enjoy the ride. The real trouble didn't hit until Phase 3. Ashenvale still deserves a mention. On paper, a zone-wide faction clash sounded amazing. In practice, the optimal play was to avoid fighting and farm NPCs shoulder to shoulder. The people who tried to PvP were scolded for ruining the rep farm. A few days later, the nerf bat came down so hard that anyone who wasn't there on day 1 fell miles behind.
Yeah.
That same old Blizzard pattern to spike the rewards, then slam them, made casuals feel punished for having a life. Exploit early, exploit often was unfortunately the case many times over in Season of Discovery.
No, but this is the thing in World of Warcraft in general though. Exploit often, exploit early, and yeah, exploit early, exploit often, exploit as much as you can while you can. This is World of Warcraft in general. Retail, classic, you name it.
Phase 3 is where things really started to slide. Incursions were...
And I will say, by the way, this is a byproduct of Blizzard firing their quality assurance, QA. They don't have that many quality assurance testers, and they don't do a lot of beta testing either, especially for Classic, and they also don't play their own games. And if they do, they barely play them. And you can obviously see that by the amount of bugs there are, amount of like things there are, and once again, nightmare incursions in Phase 3. If any of the Blizzard developers played that, and actually played it and tested it, and saw that you could repeat this and just share the quest and pick up objects, anybody, like literally anybody who played Nightmare Incursions could be able to tell this should not be in Classic WoW. So here's the thing, Nightmare Incursions, somebody pitched this idea to the team, the majority of the team gave it a thumbs up and said yes, that is number 2, and number 3, somebody on the internal alpha, beta, whatever, had to playtest this and say this is okay. There's like... I don't get it.
Tuned so high that early logins leapt ahead by entire brackets, scooping up levels and mountains of gold in a single session. Everyone else logged in later to a different economy and a different game. Blizzard nerfed quickly, but the trust damage was done. Progression felt broken, the economy felt broken, impatience wore thin. The problem with incursions wasn't even about balance, it was design. That repetitive min-max grind has no place in Classic World of Warcraft. The mere fact it was implemented in Classic was a loud signal of how disconnected the team is from the community. And at the same time, we jumped from tight 10-man raiding to big group raiding. That change alone hit a lot of casual friendly guilds hard. Overnight you needed a deeper bench. More tanks, more healers, more scheduling, more recruiting. The social friction went up, the old scene shrank, and the easy, low-pressure magic of the earlier phases was hard to recapture. For many players, Phase 3 was the moment SOD stopped feeling like their season. By the later phases, raiding tilted sweaty and joyless. Boss HP felt overtuned, bugs slipped into key encounters, and the parse race crept back. The open, alt-friendly sandbox of Phase 1 turned into a narrow, min-max treadmill. PvP had its own version of that problem. Some rune combinations were simply busted, and Battlegrounds devolved into a handful of specs rolling everyone else. Blizzard whacked a few moles, but it never felt truly playtested. A quick word on the new raids. Credit where it's due. When Blizzard finally brought in brand new content like Karajan and the Scarlet Enclave, it proved the team can absolutely deliver raids and dungeons that feel authentic to Vanilla's world. The art direction, the encounters, the atmosphere, it was really good. That's the kind of Classic Plus energy people have been asking for. But the timing, that's the heartbreaker. These raids landed in the last phase, when most players had already tapped out. By the time they arrived, guild rosters were thin, casual groups had scattered, and the audience that would have fallen in love with them just wasn't there anymore. This is why pacing matters. Classic Plus can't be a dessert that shows up after everyone has left the restaurant. It needs to be baked into the meal from the start. Not just an endgame splash at the finish line, but a living path from level 1 all the way to 60. And
this right there is exactly what Season of Discovery felt like to me, by the way. They were dangling a carrot in front of you for way too long, and I simply left before the carrot even came there. And what I'm referring to here is the Scarlet Enclave raid that was teased at BlizzCon when they was it BlizzCon? Like Warcraft Direct or BlizzCon, whatever. Like when they talked about Season of Discovery, and they showcased the Scarlet raid, and also Karazhan Crypts. It was showcased so early, and it was like some of the main selling points for new content that was in there from the start. So to me, that was the carrot that they kinda tried to hook you in with, and they gave it to you as late as fucking possible. And at that point, I feel like the majority of people had left. And they probably threw them in there to be like, oh, please come back, look, you're finally getting what you asked for. It's too late. They should have had more original content way earlier, and Karazhan Crypt should have been there in Phase 4, and maybe even Phase 3 as like level 50 plus content, or level 50 content, but probably Phase 4. And Scarlet Enclave should not have been Phase 8. No. And if it was, like, there should have been some more content in between. Sure, they added Demonfall Canyon, big whoop, way, yay, woo, 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 woo. Such a good dungeon, right? Anything Turtle WoW made beats Demonfall Canyon by about 15.47 times.
through all of it, the old enemy never left, bots and RMT. Banning GDKPs didn't stop gold buying, it just moved where the money flowed. Bots kept farming, prices kept inflating, and honest play felt worse by comparison. If you've watched a line of mages or hunters vacuum a zone at 3 AM, you know the feeling. In Season of Discovery, that problem never truly improved. Now put that next to what the community has been building on private servers. And let's be honest about why people keep going there. It's not because they hate Blizzard, at least it's not the only reason. It's because they want Classic Plus, and in a lot of ways the community delivered it first and better. On the better run projects, bot bans are swift, GMs are visible, and economies feel human again. Not perfect, but the scale of abuse is dramatically smaller.
Yeah.
Gold has value because it isn't printed by scripts. When someone cheats, they're gone by dinner, and in many cases the servers are actually stable.
Yeah, who would have guessed, by the way? The economy on private servers where they actually have GMs who enforce their own rules, it actually works. Like, who would have guessed the economy is better on a server where the bots are actually being banned, and the gold sellers also get banned? People that break the rules actually get banned for doing so. Meanwhile, on Blizzard, it's like, sure, at the moment there has been a recent gold buying ban wave, by the way, which is like the first time in absolute history, but also, it's a 2-week ban wave. Some people bought 20,000 gold recently on anniversary, which is quite a lot, and got a 2-week ban for it. Nice. Do you know what he's gonna do when he comes back? Probably buy gold from a different website, and hope it goes through this time. Like, it's a 2-week ban, man. Who cares? Literally. They need to increase the length of the ban, otherwise, I'm saying it, I objectively understand anybody who buys gold. Objectively. And I'm saying this as somebody who hates gold buying, but I objectively understand it. Like, why would you farm for 20 hours in game when you can go to work for 1 hour and buy that gold instead? A lot of people, like, if you simply work 1 hour of overtime, you can buy the gold equivalent of 20 hours of farming. So at this point, we're grown adults who value our times, especially most of us do.
The fact that bans are happening by telling so in world chat with names and reasons. But the big reason people stay: content. New zones, new dungeons, new raids, in places vanilla hinted at but never explored. The Emerald Dream as real endgame. The Dragon Isles long before retail went there. Sensible class and race combos. Account-friendly systems that respect your time, not seasonal wipes, persistent worlds where your character's story continues. That's what people have been asking Blizzard to make for years, and the community, with a fraction of the resources, proved it could be done. In community-run Classic Plus servers, Azeroth is reborn with new zones and dungeons for every level bracket. Fresh quests keep the journey engaging at all levels. Revamped talent trees expand each class's viability, letting every spec shine, and with new gear to discover, the thrill of the next upgrade never fades. Fan-made realms put community experience first. There's no layering or sharding, just a single living world, where everyone adventures together. Remote battleground queuing lets you join PvP from anywhere, keeping you in the action with less waiting. Active moderation keeps the world fair by driving out bots and fostering a vibrant community. Ultimately, these community-first Classic Plus servers embody the best of what players love about World of Warcraft. They offer a tight-knit, immersive adventure, built by fans for fans. Blizzard seemed to acknowledge that demand when they sent a Classic Plus survey. Hype rose and then deflated. Seeing ideas like flying mounts in Classic, token and pet battles made players wonder if the lesson hadn't landed. People weren't asking you to import retail systems.
Yeah, like literally, when I saw that, by the way, on the on there, like, I have to ask, like, just why? Like, what are they thinking? They talk about Classic Plus, and they literally just talk about retail systems here. It's collections, account-wide collections, new player character models, so in this case as well, character models similar to those used for player-created characters in modern World of Warcraft. They're just like listing literal retail stuff here. Battle pets. Who cares about pet battling in Classic Plus? Sure, you can be like, doesn't devalue the game, why? But why should they prioritize their development on that? And at this point, they're obviously like, they have limited amount of developers and the limited development time. Focus on literally anything else in pet battling. Literally anything. So pet battles, no. Big no. Why is that even on there? Player housing, I mean, sure, but also, why is it on there? There's so many things on there that people never really asked for in Classic Plus, and I don't really know why Blizzard even needs feedback on it. It's so dumb. It really is. They also talk about WoW tokens, by the way. Blah blah WoW tokens, and like a shop mechanic as well. Yeah, WoW token, right there. A secure and convenient way for players to exchange gold for game time or Battle.net balance. To be fair, if I can do it to Battle.net balance, I wouldn't mind, because then I can start stocking up on Battle.net balance by being, like, printing millions. Now, that could be cool. So far in Classic, you've only been able to convert the WoW token to game time, so I'm not really sure why Classic Plus would do it differently, but hey. Either way, instead of tackling the botting situation, finding ways to be anti-botting, they want to capitalize on it. They basically create the problem, allow the problem to become a massive problem, and then sell you the solution. They simply, like, here's the thing, this is like Blizzard's monetization setup. They allow bots to happen, they ban them like a little bit every now and then to keep up the illusion that they're actually banning bots, but they let the problem be a problem, and also let the problem scale to the point where you really notice the problem. And when they then sell you the WoW token, they can be like, oh, but now there's going to be no illegal gold buying and the bots are going to stop botting. They are basically selling you the solution and monetizing off of it, instead of fixing the problem itself. It is just another monetization avenue.
They were asking to expand vanilla with vanilla's soul and constraints. The survey had good ideas too, but the out-of-touch ones drowned them out. Then the lawsuit hit Turtle WoW. Legally, Blizzard is protecting its IP. Everyone understands that part. Emotionally, it felt like a gut punch.
Yeah.
Turtle became the poster child for a respectful Classic Plus. New content in the old tone, run by folks who clearly love the game. Instead of outbuilding them, Blizzard brought lawyers. For many, that was the moment hope turned into resignation, not just frustration with Season of...
It really was as well, though. I feel like...
turtle made it to the water.
Hey, yo, thank you for the follow, by the way, over here on Kick. I really do appreciate it, thank you. I feel like this was maybe the turning point to a lot of people. I think like maybe Blizzard farmed more negative PR than they were intending to here, because a lot of people now see that instead of competing versus Turtle WoW, they're trying to take them down, because they know they can't compete. Meanwhile, they can't really take down Turtle either, even if by some miracle they get granted everything in the suit. Torta can just download everything from Turtle WoW to a hard drive, give it to her friends, and let them run it instead. And suddenly, in like half a year after it's taken down, if it ever gets taken down, which it won't by the way, but like in an imaginary world where it does get taken down, in a couple of months afterwards, you see something called Dino WoW, and it's very similar to Turtle WoW, 99.99%, with a different logo. Wow. The one way for Blizzard to compete is to create a better product that people will play over this.
Discovery, but doubt that Blizzard wants or even can serve this audience. Season of Discovery did real good. It proved the appetite for Classic Plus is huge. It showed how fun class experimentation can be. It reminded people how it feels when Azeroth is mysterious again. But as it went on, remix raids replaced new adventures. Phase 3's incursions and the jump to big group raiding pushed casual guilds to the edge. The economy blew up and trust with it. The survey sent mixed signals. And the lawsuit made Blizzard look like it was fighting the community instead of learning from it. If Blizzard wants to repair trust, the path is clear. Not easy, but clear. Listen without ego. The community has been consistent about what it wants. Vanilla-style endgame that's actually new. Meaningful professions, flavorful classes, dangerous world content, faction and class issues addressed, and a war on bots that players can feel in-game. Show humility, collaborate with the people who've proven they can build Classic Plus. Hire them, consult them, copy what they've done like you always do. Bring that passion inside instead of trying to erase it. Make the rules of the road obvious, no flying, no modern systems that break the world. Build on Azeroth with respect for what made it great. Can they do it? Technically, absolutely. Culturally, that's the real question. This isn't something a single flashy season fixes. Not a survey, definitely not a lawsuit. It's a string of player-first decisions delivered consistently, and a Classic Plus that feels like it was made by people who love vanilla as much as the players do. So I'll put it to you. Did Season of Discovery actually deliver what you wanted, or did it give you a taste and then pull the plate away? Do you trust Blizzard to make a true Classic Plus after this, or do you think the real vision still lives on private servers for now? Which phase hooked you? Where did it lose you? And what one change would bring you back? Let's discuss in the comments. If you enjoyed this, drop a like and subscribe. I'll keep covering Classic Plus from the helicopter view, Blizzard's moves, the community projects, and the player voice at the center of it. This conversation isn't over. In some ways, it's just getting started. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.
That was a good video, by the way. Really good video, really chill storytelling as well. And to echo what he said there, or to answer what he asked, to on the other hand, like, he asked which phase hooked me in Season of Discovery, phase 1, and which one did I lose interest, phase 3. there was just too many things in Phase 3 that to me did not make sense. Like, Nightmare Incursions pissed me off beyond what I thought was like possible for Classic WoW. It was just so antithetical to everything Classic WoW is. It made you go through a portal, and in that portal, instanced content by the way, you could simply run a lap, say 5-minute lap, over and over and over and over and over again, not even daily, but repeatable en masse. And you could farm gold that way, the best way to farm gold in the game. You could level up that way, the best way to level up in the game. And also, you could gear up that way, one of the best ways to gear up in the game, to get level 50 gear. And then also, Sunken Temple sucked, was overtuned, the bosses had way too much health, the gear was also way too bad for a while, until about 3 weeks in, give or take, where they buffed all the loot and nerfed all the boss health. At that point, the raid became doable, but it had already pissed me off beyond belief. The whole phase was just garbage. Phase 3 was trash. Never repeat anything from Phase 3 ever again, please. Apart from Phase 3, Season of Discovery was pretty good, but I also don't like the fact that they kept Karazhan Crypt for so long, and Scarlet Enclave for so long. It was a carrot that was shown to us to hype up the season, and was given to us at the end of the season. Which is, sure, you want to like give the people what they're asking for, like later, like make them play the game for a bit, but play the whole game and then give us what we asked for, and then after a month you are like, oh, we are not going to develop this game anymore, which basically killed the game. I don't know, like to me that was kind of cringe, man. But I will say, overall I enjoyed Season of Discovery, it was good for what it was, but we need something else. We need something new, something better, and something more permanent. And don't dangle the carrot in front of us for like a year straight.